Yeah.
Georgia, pleasure to meet you. You
Nice
said that
to
you
meet you,
work
Dean.
for a pro-life org?
Yes, I do.
Very,
All
very
right,
interesting.
let's talk about it.
Do you guys focus on like preventative means from pregnancy in the first place? Like, do you guys have like policy initiatives to like reduce financial instability or poverty in young women?
What abortion does is it incentivizes people to live in a promiscuous way that further increases the rates of pregnancies that are not in a stable situation like marriage. And so I'm actually against contraception.
Being pro-contraceptive would save the lives of more innocent babies under your review because then there'd be less
Killing an
unwanted
innocent human
pregnancies.
being is always wrong. Abortion kills an innocent human being. Therefore, abortion is always wrong.
Yeah, I reject P1.
And allowing abortion just reflects our overall decay as a society when it comes to the way we view sexuality, marriage, and it just leads to a culture of death. When you have abortion, it leads to things like MAID in Canada. What abortion is we're allowing the government to have the authority to define when personhood begins because we're separating it from the moment of conception. And if it's not at the moment of conception, then the most powerful person gets to decide when it begins. And that's always subjective. And when more powerful people have that authority or allow themselves to have that authority to define when personhood begins, you have grave travesties like slavery. If it's a subjective line, then when does that begin? When does personhood begin? And when you say it doesn't begin at conception, it's actually what you're arguing is a very suspicious, mystical idea of when it does. And that sounds more superstitious than Christianity.
Well, thank you for your comments. About your syllogism, I'd reject P1. Don't think it's always wrong to kill an innocent human being.
To intentionally kill an innocent human being, you don't think it's always wrong to intentionally kill an innocent human being?
Like I've said to the last 5 guests, I mean, we do that to brain dead patients all the time.
Okay, so that's to withhold care from them that sustains their life.
Okay.
That's different than intentionally going there and killing them.
Okay, so then you're on board with the abortion pill, withholding the progesterone supplied through the umbilical cord that would sustain the life of the fetus.
I'm completely against the abortion pill.
But it's just withholding care that would sustain the fetus's life.
It's different though in nature because what we're doing is what occurs in the uterus is solely for the service of the fetus. The uterus does not exist to serve the woman. They exist to serve the child. What abortion is it's just the actual destruction of that child. It reflects the destruction of our idea of parental duty. Parents have a duty to care for their children. What's your question?
My question is, let's just like envision a hypothetical of like a 9-year-old girl getting raped and impregnated, and we know that pregnancy is not going to kill her. Per your syllogism that you gave earlier, it seems to be the case that you'd argue it would be wrong for her to get an abortion. Is this true?
Abortion only continues to perpetuate violence, the cycle of violence. It only increases the trauma to that child. And what we would do, we would still try to minimize the trauma of pregnancy for that 9-year-old.
No abortion.
I am completely against abortion in all cases, period. And that's the consistent pro-life stance.
Wow. What about when it's like the life of the mother on the line?
Okay, so that's nonsense. What we have is we have C-section. And so
what if it's before viability?
That simply does not happen. That simply
what if
is
it
a
did?
lie.
Would you be okay with it?
There's no what ifs. Listen.
No, it's a good question.
It simply does not
by
happen.
the way, it does absolutely happen.
Okay, our medical technology is so sophisticated today.
Can you just answer the question? Like, would you be okay with it?
The idea that there is a black and white, the life of the mother. The technology we have today is where we can operate on fetuses, and the child can continue.
If a medical health professional determines that a pregnant woman will die if she doesn't get an emergency C-section or abortion.
Okay, then do the emergency C-section, Dean. You just proved my point.
No, I didn't.
Yes, I did.
Because it's before viability.
Okay, when's viability? Viability is based on technology.
I'm going to go ahead.
Changes.
It is.
Viability
I
is
just
at
want
week
to ask
20.
my question.
One day viability might
be
at the first trimester.
The question that I'd like to ask you is, let's assume a woman is pregnant. It's before viability, per the technological innovations and standards in America, because that's where we live.
When does personhood begin, Dean?
I'll happily answer your question.
When should abortion be legal?
So I think that personhood begins around 20 through 24 weeks with the thymocortical connections, the emergence of a mind. But my question is, if there's a woman that's pregnant, it's before viability, per like the technological innovation in America, and a doctor tells her that she needs to get an emergency C-section or abortion. It doesn't matter because either way it's going to kill the fetus. And the doctor says if she doesn't get this emergency C-section or abortion, then she's going to die. Would you be okay with her getting what? interested. It's I want to see where your ideological underpinnings fall.
So I noticed how that's one of your debate strategies. You corner us into these questions. I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
So what doctors do is they take an oath that says do no harm. Doing an abortion not only does obvious harm to the child by killing the child, but it actually does a lot of physical trauma to the mother.
Yeah, less trauma than childbirth. It does a lot of trauma
to the uterus. And not only that, but many women end up being suicidal after abortion. Yeah. But regardless of that,
can you answer the question,
we have this very backwards view of the technology that we have now. There simply are not cases where women need to get abortions in order to save their life.
The question.
Because it's not a scenario that actually exists. A lot of these doctors are committing medical malpractice, and they're actually lying because they have an agenda.
If it were to happen, would you be okay with that woman getting an abortion?
Absolutely not, because that doesn't happen.
So if it did, you wouldn't be okay with her getting an abortion?
That's
insane.
In it does, see, we're talking
we gotta pause.